Okay, we're going to start the video out, and this time I'm going to be talking about. These are just basic drill bits and things I use in my shop that go into my drill press. Now, the main purpose of all these drill bits I have is I use these for making, like if I have to make holes in my metal panels, I use these for making holes in metal panels, and also I use them for making holes in wood. Now, one of the questions people have asked me is, how do you know, how do you select the drill bit that you're going to use for the job that you're going to have? Well, that's pretty easy to explain to you. When you buy a drill bit, like this one, like I have a DeWalt drill bit right here to show you in this video right here. This is a DeWalt. This is called a DeWalt Pilot Point drill bit right here. When you buy a drill bit, depending on the material that you're using, it's going to depend on the type of drill bit that you buy. What you want to determine is, in your workshop, are you going to be working with plastics, metals, woods, various things like that. Different drill bits are going to have different qualities that will allow them to work with different materials. And in most cases, they're actually going to tell you on the drill bit itself actually what type of materials that the drill bit will work with. They usually have indications like metals, plastics, woods. Usually that's going to be right on the front where the drill bit is. It's going to be right on the front what materials it will cut through. Now, the thing to keep in mind is different drill bits are made of different materials to handle different things that you might be cutting. A metal bit, for example, might be made of stronger metal and things like that than, let's say, a wood bit would be. And that's one of the reasons why the prices on drill bits also can vary. But if you need to know what sort of materials it cuts through, just look up the items in the front of the drill bit. And then also in the back, there's also important information on the back. Now, what this is going to show you in the back is this is going to show you, for example, how fast a drill press and things, what your drill press speed needs to be when you're using this drill bit. It's very important on drill bits like these to have the drill press speed no more than what they suggest on the back of the package as far as the RPMs for the drill bit goes. The reason that's important is if you're spinning a drill bit too fast through material, you run a risk of having it shatter and also not perform correctly if you're running it at too high an RPM. And that's the thing on the back of here. It normally will have the suggestion how many RPMs that the drill bit is designed to run at. Sometimes you can also find that on the front of the package as well. Okay. And another thing to keep in mind too. One of the things I want to mention is I like these DeWalt's what are called pilot tip bits. One of the reasons I like these bits is there's actually a little tip on the end of this. It's a very, very fine tip. It's designed to puncture the material first before it drills, and it tends to make a pretty clean hole. So that's one of the reasons why I like to use these DeWalt drill bits. Those are the ones that I use in my shop, and they look like this when you get them out. And that's what I use in my shop. Okay? Now that covers the drill bits. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about what I call the wood bearing bits, and that's what these are. Now you're going to notice that the wood bearing bits they look like a conventional bit, a conventional drill bit, but the thing that makes them different on the end is they have what looks like an actual paddle here, and there's a thing on here, and what this does is this actually gouges you go through the hole with this, and it actually gouges out a pattern. Basically, the hole is going to be as wide as the bit is itself. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay? If you have a situation like this, for example, like you make a piece of wood, and you have a bolt that's sticking out, and you need to have this bolt countersunk. You see how that's above the material? If you're trying to lay something on top of this and the bolt's preventing it, then that's what this bit right here comes in. That's what this bit right here does. What you do is you make the hole that you're going to use the bolt with, like this right here. Using you can just use a conventional drill bit like this to make the hole. All right, you make the hole like that, the conventional way. But then in order to countersink that, you use this bit right here to countersink. And what it does is it actually goes into you put it into the hole to start out like this. Then this would turn, and what this does is this actually goes in, and as you can see in the photo here, what it does is it bores a perfect hole the same size as the bit. It actually bores into the wood. And then that will allow you to countersink your bolts and everything under the surface so that they're countersunk. And that's what this bit right here is. That's the purpose of this bit right here. Okay? All right, now the next bit we're going to talk about, the next bit is going to be, this is a hole punching bit they call it, or a hole making bit they call it. What it is if you have material like this, for example, and you want to make a hole through it, that's what this is for right here. It's got teeth on it. It's got like a metal barrel, and there's actual teeth on here that actually cut through the material, as you can see in the photo here. Now, what you're going to find out is different ones of these bits can actually make different size holes depending how wide a hole you need. Also, you're going to find that just like with the drill bits, when you buy these in the package, there's going to be things going to tell you what materials that these hole bits can handle. You need to be careful when you're doing these that you use the right ones, because some of these are for metal and some of these are for woods, and it'll tell you on the package. But what the purpose of these is when you make a hole in your metal or your wood, like this right here, make a conventional hole, okay? What you need to do is, if you need to make a hole like this that's wider, that's where this bit actually comes in handy. This bit actually, what you do is you put this in the hole, make a hole like this, put it in the hole, and then this spins, and as a result of this spinning, it actually can cut holes out like this, through if you're making control panels and things just like that. That's where this bit right here comes in. Now, the thing, and what it ends up doing is it ends up making perfect holes. So if you're making things like control panels and things, this is an absolutely perfect bit for doing that, for making holes and things for control panels. Okay? So that's what this bit's used for. Now, the final one we're going to talk about, this is a, it's not exactly a bit, it's more of a universal drill attachment, I call it. Now, this you can use on your drill press, or you can use this on your hand drill. What this is actually a grinding stone. And what this would be used for is, if you have material like this and you need to grind it down, that's what this would be used for. You can actually put this in and this would spin, and then you can take your material and hold it up against it like this, and basically the drill will spin this, and then you can grind things smooth like this right here in round circles and things by using a bit just like this one right here. Now, the thing to keep in mind when you're using these bits, because of the material these are made out of, generally these bits, when you use these, generally I have my drill press set on lower RPM when I use these, because I've actually had these break apart before because just age and things like that. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I generally keep the drill press at a lower RPM when I use one of these grinding stones, but I find that these are pretty handy to use as well. Okay, so now that gives you, this video, I basically showed you four different types of drill bits and things that I use in my workshop. I wanted to thank you, by the way, for tuning into the channel, and if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave those in the comment windows below, and as always, I want to thank you for tuning into the Kurt's Place channel here on the YouTube, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care, everybody, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.